For the first time in 25 years, the same player won the regular season MVP, the scoring title, and now he's your finals MVP, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. 2019 Kia NBA Most Valuable Player goes to Giannis Antetokounmpo. Nikola, 3 MVPs and a championship in 4 years. What a run.
Looking. Castle right with him. Dončić a 3. Puts it in! Luka Dončić from downtown.
High pick and roll.
Every new season hits different because the MVP list looks less like the NBA we all remember and more like some worldwide all-star showcase. You've got Jokic coming in from Serbia.
That's not super relevant to an NBA game, but...
Oh, how about Jokic with an incredible pass?
This brother, Jokic, I mean, just a big tub of lard, just shoving people around, you know, no six-pack, ain't stealth built or anything like that. He's just big and strong, you know, waddle. He don't even walk, he waddles and stuff. You just look at him and you can't stop him. Yeah. There's nothing you can do.
Calm as ever. And then you've got Shai, the smooth Canadian sniper who's chilling right near the top like it's nothing.
Shai deciding what he wants to do. Spinning on Randall, got inside.
Then it suddenly smacks you. Hold up, where are the American stars in this picture? This league was built in the US. They control the arenas, the culture, the jersey hype, the mixtape highlights, all of that. But those MVP trophies, they packed their bags, jumped on a flight overseas, and haven't come back in years. And it's not some random streak either. Every season, the MVP conversation gets more international, to the point where English doesn't even feel like the main language between the finalists anymore. Some of these guys aren't saying bro, they're saying brat, free, or mate, and suddenly the whole vibe shifts. So what's really happening here? Has the NBA transformed into something closer to a European-style league? Are international players quietly running the whole show now? And if they are, what does that really say about the state of American basketball today? We're about to dig deep into all of it, from the global takeover at the top of the MVP race to the way the entire voting system actually works. Because here's something most fans never even realize. The MVP isn't some highlight contest or social media popularity award. It's a political, complicated, and honestly emotional process, and understanding that is where everything really starts. Before we even get into how international players keep stacking MVPs, we gotta clear something up, because most fans don't actually know how the MVP is chosen. It's not about the flashiest dunk or the clip that breaks the internet. The MVP is decided by roughly 100 media members, writers, broadcasters, analysts, people who watch basketball all day and all night. Each voter ranks their top 5 players, with points assigned to each spot. The totals get added up and boom, that's your MVP. But here's the twist, it's not only about the numbers. If stats were the only factor, James Harden would have had more trophies than he'd know what to do with. MVP voting is this wild combo of stats, team wins, narrative momentum, and yes, some bias that creeps in no matter what. Win a lot and your chances jump. Miss games and your name drops fast. But if your story hits deep, carrying your squad, proving people wrong, voters eat it up. It's basically basketball's version of the Oscars. Half talent, half storyline. And the funny part, players don't even have to hype themselves up. The media does it for them. One crazy month, one emotional post-game moment, and suddenly people start whispering MVP like it's some secret everyone wants to believe. So when someone gets labeled an MVP candidate, it's not just about scoring or putting on a show. It's about hitting every requirement, elite stats, winning impact, and that emotional spark that makes people say, yeah, I can see it. Now that the process is clear, the real question hits even harder. If America built this award, why aren't American players winning it anymore? To figure that out, we gotta go back about 20 years and see how this award went from a USA-dominated trophy to a global prize. If you look closely at the last 2 decades of MVPs, you can literally see the moment the league stopped being America's private playground and turned into an international battleground. In the mid-2000s, the MVP race was an American clubhouse. Kobe, LeBron, Durant, Curry, all legends holding down the top. Sure, Steve Nash pulled up as the polite Canadian guest, and Dirk came in from Germany like the exchange student who accidentally took over the entire classroom. But outside of those two, it was nothing but red, white, and blue. Then everything changed around 2018. That's when a whole new chapter opened up. Giannis grabbed 2 straight MVPs. rings, and Jokic followed up with back-to-back trophies of his own. Joel Embiid grabbed one MVP, Nikola Jokic added another, and then Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, another Canadian star, stepped right into the spotlight like he owned it.
A lot of hard work, a lot of hours in the gym. This isn't just a win for me, this is a win for my family, this is a win for my friends, this is a win for everybody that was in my corner growing up, this is a win for the fans, the best fans in the world.
Suddenly, the MVP standings didn't even look like an NBA list anymore. They looked like something straight out of a World Cup lineup. Here's the wild part. For almost a full decade, international players barely cracked the top 5. Maybe one every now and then, but after 2020, that number shot up fast and the whole picture changed overnight. Some seasons, the entire MVP shortlist is all international names, and American players aren't just losing the MVP trophy, they're disappearing from the conversation completely. Back in the 2000s, guys like Steve Nash and Dirk Nowitzki were treated like the cool international guests at an American party. Now those guests took over everything: the DJ booth, the bar, the stage, and they're the ones holding the trophy at the end of the night. From 2018 to 2025, 7 of the last 8 MVPs were born outside the United States, and that's not some trend anymore. That's a full-blown takeover. When you zoom out, the pattern hits hard. The first half of the last 20 years was pure American dominance. The second half, a global eruption that completely flipped the league on its head. Giannis Antetokounmpo is bending physics with how he moves. Jokic is running the game like he's conducting an orchestra. Luka Dončić is breaking the old superstar blueprint. Shai is making the mid-range cool again, and Victor Wembanyama is rewriting what humans are even supposed to do on a basketball court.
Giannis on the break.
Wembanyama. Oh, goes down and puts it down. 14 of 18, including making 6 of their 8 threes. Wembanyama.
Oh my gosh.
With the ram.
When you see Wembanyama play, there's something you've never seen in your life. You're going to see one time, and I mean, oh my goodness, he crams.
Nothing shocks me about this game.
And that Drew rim, it's still loose. Luka got it back. He did it. An improbable comeback by Dallas to tie it with 1 second left.
And the wildest part, this global wave isn't slowing down at all. Every new superstar sounds a little less American and a little more international. And the MVP trophy, once the ultimate American flex, now feels like a message saying the rest of the world already caught up. So how did all this happen? Why are international players suddenly dominating one of the biggest awards in all of sports? To answer that, we gotta look at how they're trained and why their development system creates players who thrive in areas where many American players still struggle. Before we dive deep, quick shout out. Thanks for rocking with BallScope. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to drop a comment below and subscribe. It really helps us keep pushing. Alright, let's jump back in because this next part explains everything. How did we reach a point where international MVPs aren't rare surprises, but almost expected every single year, to the point where the whole top 5 looks like an Olympic opening ceremony? The truth is simple. The rest of the world didn't just catch up to American basketball. They started building players differently. Outside the US, basketball is treated like a craft, something you master piece by piece, not just a performance you show off for highlights. In Europe, coaches don't care about flashy plays. They care about discipline and doing things the right way. Every single possession, miss a defensive rotation and you're getting benched instantly, not praised for some wild dribble move you posted online. Kids grow up learning spacing, timing, ball movement, footwork, and decision-making. The core skills that make someone like Jokic look like he's controlling the entire court with a remote control. Over there, the game is about thinking the game, not just reacting to it, and the environment is way tougher on young players. Luka was battling grown men at 16. Giannis grew up grinding in small gyms in Greece long before he became a global superstar. International players grow up earning everything. No hype, no cushion, no special treatment, just straight work. When you've already been elbowed by a veteran in his 30s who's fighting for a paycheck, stepping into the NBA doesn't feel scary at all. It feels like the next level in a journey you've already survived. For a lot of these international stars, NBA physicality almost feels light compared to what they grew up facing overseas. FIBA basketball shapes them in ways most fans never even notice. The court is smaller, the game is rougher, and the rules force players to actually think rather than rely on being the most athletic guy on the floor. There's no defensive 3 seconds, no wide open lanes to glide through, none of that. You either develop real basketball IQ, or you fade into the background fast. So when players like Nikola Jokic or Luka Dončić enter the NBA and suddenly have more space and more freedom, it's like they unlocked a secret cheat code. They might not look fast, but mentally they're always 2 steps ahead of whoever's guarding them. And then there's the ego factor, or honestly, the lack of it. In the US, kids get hyped up as the next big thing before they even turn into full-grown players. Overseas, nobody gets treated like a star until they've earned every bit of it. There's no mixtape machine pumping out highlights, no viral economy rewarding flashy plays. You learn how to work, not how to chase attention, and that culture builds patience, discipline, and maturity. The kind of traits that last way longer than hype ever could. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is the perfect example of this new global style mindset. He's not the flashiest guard in the league, but every move he makes feels sharp, controlled, and intentional, like he's playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. Even though he's Canadian, he carries that same substance over show mentality that international players grow up with, and it shows every night. Put all of this together and the picture becomes clear. International players aren't just showing up to the NBA with skills, they're showing up with structure, toughness, and elite basketball IQ. While parts of the American system leaned into highlights, personal branding, and hype, the rest of the world doubled down on the so-called boring fundamentals. The exact things that built Jokic, Luka, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Shai, Joel Embiid, and now Victor Wembanyama. This new generation didn't just join the league, they reshaped it completely. And when you look at today's MVP race, it almost feels unfair. Not in a "the refs robbed us" kind of way, but in a "how did the rest of the world produce 5 totally different basketball monsters at the exact same time?" Each one of these guys has a different style, a different background, and a different philosophy, but somehow they all climb to the same summit and are looking down at the entire league from there. Take Nikola Jokic, for example. Jokic plays basketball the same way a grandmaster plays chess. Calm, patient, almost spooky in how relaxed he is. Like he already knows the ending of the game before anyone else even sees the setup. He's not fast, he's not flashy, he doesn't jump out of the gym, but somehow he makes the entire NBA look like it's loading in slow motion while he moves in perfect clarity. He controls every possession like a conductor leading an orchestra, except the orchestra is made of world-class athletes, and he's the only one not even breaking a sweat. It's almost unsettling how easy the game looks for him. Then you have Luka Dončić, the Slovenian prodigy who looks like he just rolled out of bed, grabbed a coffee, and casually dropped 35 points without stretching. Luka doesn't rely on high-flying moves or crazy speed. He's living proof that you don't need to jump over anyone when you can read the game faster than everybody in the building. Luka Dončić's footwork, timing, and ability to manipulate defenders feels straight up surgical. Watching him tear apart a defense is like watching someone calmly take apart IKEA furniture. Precise, controlled, elegant, and somehow a little disrespectful all at once. And then you've got Giannis Antetokounmpo, the human cheat code. If Jokic is chess and Luka is geometry, Giannis is pure physics in motion. He's the only player in the league who can sprint the full court and make it look like a relaxed morning jog. Giannis doesn't just go through defenders, he deletes them from the play entirely. What makes him even scarier isn't just his build, it's the mentality behind it. He plays every game like he's still fighting for a roster spot, and there's something incredibly humble, inspiring, and honestly intimidating about a superstar who refuses to act like he's already made it. Then we get to Victor Wembanyama, who doesn't even feel like a real basketball player sometimes, more like a prototype someone accidentally released into the world. Wembanyama is 7 foot everything, but moves like he downloaded a guard's animation package into real life. His defense is already generational, his offensive potential is unreal, and the craziest part is, he's just warming up. Watching Wembanyama highlights feels like watching leaked footage from the future. Like you're seeing something you shouldn't have access to yet. And then there's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the quiet storm from Canada. Shai doesn't chase attention, he doesn't chase flashy plays, he doesn't chase viral moments, but he is brutally, beautifully efficient every single night. His mid-range game is pure art, his pace is hypnotic, and his defense is top tier. He plays like he sees everything happening a half second earlier than everyone else, but he never has to brag about it. Shai is the blueprint of the modern superstar, smooth, disciplined, thoughtful, and deadly on command. What ties all these players together isn't just talent, it's the fact that none of them grew up inside the traditional American basketball pipeline. They weren't raised in the AAU culture, they weren't molded by highlight chasing, they were shaped by entirely different basketball worlds. Places where coaches demand IQ, toughness, fundamentals, and real competition every single day. And the result? A generation of international hoopers who don't just compete with American stars, they consistently outplay them on the biggest stages. Now that we know why these international players shine so bright, there's a tough question the US has to face. Does American basketball have a development problem? The honest answer, kind of. Not everywhere, not for everyone, but the warning signs are stacking up. For years, the US system has been fueled by hype, AAU tournaments, mixtapes, viral highlight culture, and kids getting called the next big thing way too early in their development. It's exciting, it's flashy, it's fun, but somewhere in the middle of all that, the fundamentals started slipping. Instead of learning how to read defenses, young players focus on hitting fancy crossovers. Instead of studying spacing and movement, they chase clips for social media. Instead of getting tested by grown professionals, they play in systems that reward showmanship over smart basketball. And the outcome, a generation of unbelievable athletes who sometimes struggle with the little things, the tiny details that separate stars from legends. Timing, footwork, patience, discipline, the same things Jokic uses to toy with defenders, Luka uses to freeze entire teams, and Shai uses to score 30 without even looking tired. It's not that American talent is disappearing. Far from it. The US still has the deepest talent pool on the planet, no question about it. But the absolute elite, the ones battling for MVP trophies, are increasingly coming from places where they build the mind before the body. Overseas players are raised to think the game first and play it second, and that creates stars who enter the NBA already built for high-level decision-making. And there's another major factor. The physical grind. In America, kids play way too many games too early, under pressure, often with little rest, and that leads to burnout, injuries, and habits that are hard to fix. Overseas, young players play fewer games, but face tougher, older competition with coaches locked in on development, not exposure. That's why so many international stars move smarter, last longer, and stay consistent at the highest level. This doesn't mean American basketball is collapsing, far from it, but it does mean something important is missing. The hype machine grows faster than the skill sometimes, while countries with less money and smaller programs are somehow producing more complete players. That's the real twist. The US still controls basketball culture, but the most polished finished products are coming from all over the world now. So what happens next if this trend keeps rolling? The NBA's future might look completely different. Maybe even like an era where the face of the league doesn't sound American at all. Is the NBA turning into a European league? Not exactly, but it's definitely starting to look like it in some ways. The league is still American at its core. The cities, the money, the culture, the entire legacy. Every hooper on earth still dreams of making it to the NBA, and that won't change. But when you look at the very top, the MVP race, the superstar tier, the players carrying teams, that spotlight has gone global. For the first time ever, international players aren't just nice pieces or supporting characters. They're the ones leading franchises, shattering records, and redefining what greatness even means in today's game. The world isn't just watching the NBA anymore. It's actively running it, and honestly, that's a huge win for basketball. The league has never been more exciting, diverse, or unpredictable. You've got Giannis charging through defenses like a Greek superhero, Jokic playing chess while everyone else is stuck on checkers, Luka making defenders stumble with footwork that looks unreal, Shai moving like the whole game is in slow motion, and Wembanyama out here looking like he glitched out of a video game. This is what happens when the entire world starts hooping at a high level. The NBA becomes a global battlefield. Players overseas are entering the league sharper, smarter, and more locked in than ever before. Meanwhile, American talent is still strong. It's just that the rest of the world finally caught up and learned how to train their stars the right way. Now it's on the American development system to evolve, adjust, and learn from what's clearly working overseas. The NBA isn't becoming a European league, not even close. close. But the best of the best, yeah, they're definitely making long-distance calls after games. If things keep trending this way, the 2030 MVP ceremony might look more like a Eurobasket celebration happening right in Madison Square Garden. The global era of basketball has officially arrived, and it's making the sport better than ever. So is the NBA actually turning into a European league? Not really. The arenas are still in America, the snacks are still American, and fans still shout, "Let's go!" like it's life or death. But when you look at who's dominating the league right now, you can't help but think the next MVP speech might need subtitles. The top names in the MVP conversation sound like you're reading an atlas. Nikola Jokic from Serbia, Luka Dončić from Slovenia, Giannis Antetokounmpo from Greece, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander repping Canada, and Victor Wembanyama looking like he was designed in a French basketball lab. Meanwhile, American stars are looking at the leaderboard like, hold on, when did this switch up happen? What's even crazier is how normal it all feels now. International players aren't just joining the party, they're running the whole place and closing the door behind them like it's their house. The NBA didn't fully turn European, but the MVP race, yeah, that storyline definitely took a global turn, and honestly, it's making the league way more exciting because now the next big superstar could come from anywhere. A freezing gym in Canada, a dusty court in Africa, or some hidden spot in Europe where nobody's even looking yet.